Here we are. It's another Wednesday morning live on Facebook, Travel Talk with Northland Travel. Good morning, everyone. You can see I've got the lovely Deb here again today, which means we're going to have fun. Going to be talking about another fun trip. The weather is beautiful. Deb, I mean, it would be a good day to ride a hot air balloon, don't you think?
Oh, definitely. Definitely, yes.
Oh, yes. So be thinking about that. This Travel Talk, we're going to talk about the Albuquerque trip that Deb will be taking later this year. Of course, it involves hot air balloons. And, the last time we talked about this, there were so many other sites as well that's involved in this. So stay tuned so you can hear about all those good things too. But first, Deb, we were just kind of talking a little bit off camera. You're getting ready to go again.
You betcha. Next week.
And where are you headed?
Next week on Monday, we are headed up to the Minnesota Northwoods. If you hear this siren in the background right now, it's I hear coming from me. Unfortunately, every Wednesday they do a siren or a warning test here for the bad weather that might come through. So that'll go away in a minute. If you hear it, I apologize.
It's really for Travel Talk.
That's what happens when you're live. Anyway, we're headed to the Minnesota Northwoods next week. I'm super, super excited. We've got a group going that is all excited as I am about it because we've all been home for so long. Mm-hmm. Last month in May, we did our first trip out again after about a 15-month hiatus. And we went out to Illinois on a mystery trip, and the group really loved it. We had a good time, no problems, so I'm feeling really, really comfortable, and folks are too now about traveling these days. Just about everything is opened up, full gear again. So we're in good shape. So we're ready to go.
Awesome. So if anyone watching today is going to go on the trip, hopefully you're packing as well. If you aren't able to go on this trip, follow along next week on Facebook. Deb is wonderful about including pictures, sending them back our way so that we can kind of show and keep up with what's going on their tour. So
yep, I like to take lots of pictures. So.
Absolutely. And keeping that in mind, we had some unexpected openings. We don't expect them to last very long, but we have a couple unexpected openings on two of Deb's tours coming up. The first one is the Indiana Amish Country Tour, which I'm just getting the dates right here. August 23rd through the 27th. It's a 5-day trip later this summer. And then the second one that she does have space available on would be the North Shore Mackinac Island Tour trip. That one's going September 9th through the 15th, and that's a 7-day tour. So if you were wanting to go on these trips, both of them were sold out. If you were wanting to go on these trips, you can see the number below. Call Rhonda, and that's the siren too, letting you guys know, like, this is it. Get signed up. So you can call Rhonda at the office, and she can get you all squared away. Like I said, we do not expect these openings to last long. And so if either of those tours were on your list this year, you're in luck.
Yeah, because they are popular trips. And like she said, I do look for them to fill up, real quick. So
Sure. Okay. So we've got the business part of this out of the way. And now I might as well have some fun and talk about your Albuquerque, New Mexico Hot Air Balloon Festival trip, which will be going September 30th through October 11th of this year with Deb. So Deb, I'll let you take it away.
Okay, thanks, Rachel. Again, like she said, September 30th to October 11th. This is a 12-day trip. It's filled with lots and lots of fun things. We're doing something different and new every day. This is a trip that I do every other year. It's a very popular trip. And we always do it it's always held this same time every year. Last year, due to COVID, the Hot Air Balloon Fiesta down there in Albuquerque has been going on for 30 some years. And last year was the first year that they actually had to ever cancel it, and that was obvious reasons to COVID. But anyway, they're up and going full blast again this year, and so it's going to be a really, really good time. In addition, like she said, in addition to the actual balloon fiesta, which we attend to for 2 days, we'll also be doing some other fun things. We're going to be attending or visiting Grand Canyon. We're going to do Bryce Canyon and just a whole bunch of other fun things. And I'll tell you about those here in a minute. But I want to just get started and just tell you a few of the details that we're going to be doing. The first day out, we're going to head down towards Joplin, Missouri, and we'll be staying in Joplin the first night out. There we'll be staying at a brewery, and I'm sure everybody knows all about the breweries. You've stayed there before. They always have every night the happy hour, and then your meal is always right there. It's a free meal right there at the hotel. So once we get settled into the hotel, we don't have to worry about going back out. So that's always those are always good places, those breweries. I like them. Mm-hmm. So then we leave Joplin that next morning on day 2, and we're going to travel just a short ways over the Missouri border into Oklahoma, into Miami, Oklahoma. And there they have the Coleman Theater. This is a very historic theater. It's been around there for many, many years. They have kept the original history of it up very well. And it's got a fantastic organ inside, the historic organ, and you'll get to hear that play. And this guided tour that you have through there, they take you backstage of where they used to do all the performing. And back in the day, there was many famous entertainers that used to come there and perform. So it was a really well-known place back several years ago. So then we will leave Miami, and we're going to continue our trek across Oklahoma. And Oklahoma is one of the states that has tried to maintain as many of the Route 66 icons that they used to have over the years. The Route 66 highway itself, much of it doesn't exist anymore. They've put it combined it with other highways and interstates and that. But every now and then you get a chance to get off on the original Route 66. But nevertheless, there are lots of places, whether it be the 4-lane highways, the interstate, or the actual Route 66, that has a lot of these iconic stops in them across Oklahoma. And we're going to stop at different ones along the way. And one of the first fun places we're going to stop and have lunch is at Lucille's Roadhouse. If you remember back in the day when Route 66 was the thing, it was always referred to as the Mother Road. And Lucille's Roadhouse is a little cafe there, a little diner that this lady by the name of Lucille, she's passed away now, but this lady by the name of Lucille ran this all by herself for many, many years. And she got to be known as the mother of the Mother Road. So you'll hear lots of stories and see lots of fun things there when we stop there for lunch. And then we'll continue on our way across Oklahoma and eventually getting into the panhandle of Texas. And that's where we'll spend that night then, is that in Amarillo, Texas, for our lodging that night. Again, that's another brewery. So that will be your happy hour, and that will be your free meal right there at the hotel. So that's always a good thing. The next morning then, which is day 4, Sunday, October 3rd, we will pick up our stuff, and we're going to head to Albuquerque that day. This is the afternoon and the day that everybody's been waiting for. And we'll get in there into Albuquerque mid-afternoon. And the first thing we're going to do there is going to stop at the Indian Pueblo Cultural Center, which is located there in Albuquerque. And this center is dedicated to the history, the culture, and the art of the Pueblo Indian. So I think you'll enjoy that. And then what's really neat about this place too, while the balloon fiesta is going on, which altogether is about a 10-day event, the balloon fiesta. But while the fiesta is going on, why this cultural center, Pueblo Cultural Center, they have a lot of their native tribes come in, and they do you'll see a lot of these native dances. They have a big open arena in the middle of the cultural center there. And a lot of these folks are out there doing their native dances in their native costumes. And so it's a pretty cool thing to see.
So then on a normal year, do you know how many people actually come to Albuquerque for
the fiesta? Oh my goodness, hundreds of thousands.
Right.
It runs for 2 weekends. It starts on a Saturday and it runs through the following, or starts on a Friday and it runs through the following Saturday and Sunday.
Okay.
But the weekends are just jam packed with thousands and thousands of people.
So
And
you
that's,
feel the
yeah.
and
But there's lots and lots of people there through the week too. But we always get in there on Monday and Tuesday when it's not so crowded. It's lots less crowded than on those weekdays. And so, but they still have just as many balloons as they ever had. But it's just a neat thing to see. I mean, and you're not so jam packed. You're not shoulder to shoulder with everybody.
Sure.
So that always helps. But anyway, so then we'll get into Albuquerque that night on Sunday night, and we'll stay there then, and then we'll get up. I'll get you up bright and early, and when I mean bright and early, I mean early. We're talking probably 4 a.m. that we're going to get you up and take you out to the grounds, but it's well worth it. Everybody always moans and groans when they get on the bus. Oh, I'm so tired. But once you get out there, you forget that. We like to get out there before dawn because they always do what they call the morning glow. And they do that right at daybreak. And what that is it's still dark outside. And then what happens is that these guys start to inflate all of their balloons. And as they're inflating them, all these beautiful colors are coming out and are rising, and it's pitch black outside yet, so you get to see all that. It's really, really neat. And then come dawn, when it starts to get light out, then that's when the world comes to life out there, and the balloons all start slowly ascending up. And oh my goodness, if you've seen pictures, I've had lots of pictures on our website and on my Facebook page and that of past pictures of and there's just hundreds and hundreds of balloons. It's just one of those things that I say, and they're all colors and shapes and sizes and different figures. And, I mean, there's Disney characters and there's Star Wars characters. And I mean, some of these balloons are huge. They're just huge. You'll see a picture of a balloon, a super big balloon there, and then the basket underneath of it is just almost miniature compared to the balloon size. Yeah. It's crazy big. But anyway, you'll see all that.
Person to believe.
Yeah, it is. It's really neat. It's one of those things that I always say that pictures don't do it justice. You have to be there to see it. It's phenomenal. Anybody that's been out there with me, I'm sure, would attest to the same thing and say the same thing. So it's really cool.
You can even tell. I mean, how many times have you been to the Fiesta?
Probably 4 or 5, something like that. We go every couple years.
And every time you talk about it, I mean, you get excited. I do.
Tell. It's one of my favorite trips. It's super. I mean, like I said, because in addition to this, we're doing all the other fun things too. So yeah, it's one of my many, many favorite trips. So yeah, it's cool. So we have a good time. So anyway, then that afternoon, or by late morning, everything out to the grounds on this first day, everything out to the grounds is pretty well wrapping up. Not too much goes on after about 10, 11 o'clock out there. So then we'll leave there, and then we're going to travel just a short distance over to the Hot Air Balloon Museum, which sits adjacent to the Fiesta grounds there. And then we'll go in there, and you'll learn all about the history of hot air ballooning. That's a really neat place to visit too. So we'll spend a little time there. And then we will leave there, and we're going to take you downtown Albuquerque. And once we get downtown Albuquerque, we're going to go to the Turquoise Museum and have a guided tour there. And you're going to learn all about turquoise. As everybody knows, the Southwest that's one of the main gems down there is turquoise. And so you're going to learn all about that and see a bunch of really neat turquoise jewelry. And the folks there, you'll have a guided tour, and the folks there are going to tell you what the difference between the real turquoise values are. I mean, there's turquoise and then there's turquoise, and you're going to learn the difference there. And that's always a neat thing. And then later that afternoon, after we leave the Turquoise Museum, we're going to take you downtown Old Albuquerque. And there again, this is the very historic part of Old Albuquerque. And we'll give you a couple hours to shop. They've got several shops down there with souvenir shops and so on and so forth. So we'll give you a couple hours to shop and walk around down there. And then we'll get you back to the hotel late afternoon, early evening. Again, getting you up at 4 o'clock in the morning. And we're going to do the same thing on the next morning. So we like to get you back so you can still get a few hours of sleep before the next morning comes, which is the second day we'll be out there, which is Tuesday. And we'll get you back up bright and early once again and take you back out to the grounds and let you see the dawn patrol, as they call it, where they, inflate all the balloons and everything that day as well, and they'll rise. But what's so super cool about this second day, and I get really excited about this, is that for those of you that choose, and again, this is totally a voluntary thing. You're not required to have to do this. But if you should choose, if taking a hot air balloon ride has been on your bucket list, this is the opportunity, the chance of a lifetime for you to do it. This is the best place ever you can do it. So you'll get a chance to take a hot air balloon ride if you want. And if you choose to do this, think about the first day, Monday when we were there, you've seen all these balloons lift off the ground and you see all the sights from the ground. And if you choose to take a hot air balloon ride on that second day, you're going to get a chance you're going to be up there with all those balloons at the same time they are. So you're going to get to see all of them from up there. I unfortunately have not had the opportunity because I got to stay on the ground with the other group, but had the opportunity to go up. I've done a hot air balloon ride before and it's fantastic. I loved it. But I haven't had a chance to actually do it there at the grounds. But the folks that have done it when we went 2 years ago or 3 years ago, it was 18. We were supposed to go last year. But anyway, when we went back in 2018, there's about 10 or 12 of my group that chose to do the hot air balloon ride. And they were just amazed. They came back and said it was worth every single penny that they did it, and that they spent on it. And they do it again in a heartbeat. So again, like I mentioned, it does cost extra for this. And if you're interested in doing this, if you sign up for the trip and you're interested in doing this hot air balloon ride, which I strongly recommend, call me or get in touch with me and I can give you pricing and all that stuff on it. So, but I think if you decide to do it, it's something you never regret that you did. Okay. So then we will once again leave the grounds later that morning. And then this is the day we'll leave Albuquerque. And so then we'll depart Albuquerque and we're going to travel to Williams, Arizona. And we'll get in there late afternoon, get checked into the Glen Canyon Railway Hotel there, which is just a couple blocks from downtown Williams. Williams is one of those spots. Route 66 went right through there years ago. And they have maintained, and that's what they're known for. It's a very touristy town, and they're known for all their Route 66 iconic places. They have several souvenir shops. There's gas stations there where you see the big old Sinclair signs and all those different signs, gas station signs that you used to see back in the day. And so they've maintained all that. There's good barbecue there. You'll have a chance to eat there wherever you choose that evening. Because like I said, it's just a couple blocks from our hotel. So I get to spend the late afternoon and evening there exploring that. Then we will stay overnight there in Williams at the Glen Canyon Railway Hotel, which is just what it says. It's the railway that will take us that next morning right up to the Grand Canyon. It'll be if I remember right, like a 2.5, 3 hour ride, I think it is, up to the canyon. We'll get into get to the Grand Canyon late morning, and we will be met by a bus there in the canyon. It's a park canyon bus. We get on that, and then we have a guided tour of the canyon. This is the south rim that we're going to here. And you will have a guided tour of the canyon. The bus makes several stops where they let you get off at different places, along the rim, so you can go out and get all these really cool pictures and see all the neat stuff in the canyon. So you'll get to do that. And then we'll come back and we'll have lunch there at the canyon. And then later that afternoon or mid-afternoon, we will depart Grand Canyon and we will take off for Page, Arizona, which is where we'll be staying that next night. And that leads us into day 8, Thursday, October 7th. And once we get that morning, then we'll get up in Page. And before we leave Page, there's some couple of really fun things we're going to do there. Number one is we're going to go out and visit what's referred to as Antelope Slot Canyon. I don't want to tell you too much about this because I always like to make this kind of a surprise as to what you're going to see out there. I mean, this is far, far, far from your typical canyon that you're going to see. And all I want to say to you about it is that the photo ops out there are just fantastic. So it's, we go out there on a truck, the Navajo guide trucker. It's a minibus now. I guess they used to be trucks. Minibus takes you out there to the canyon, and then from there you're just going to be blown away. It's just amazing what you're going to see. So we'll do that. And then before we leave Page, we're going to stop at the Glen Canyon Dam and visit that. That's where you'll see the upper Colorado Basin, and beautiful Lake Powell is located right there. So we'll get to see all that, and then we'll take off and head towards Bryce Canyon. We'll get into the Bryce Canyon area late afternoon, early evening. And then we will stay right there at the Bryce Canyon Hotel that night, which is located right at the entrance to Bryce Canyon. So we'll stay overnight that night there. And then day 9, Friday, October 8th, we will go into Bryce Canyon National Park and let you visit there. This, again, if you haven't been there before, they have such unique rock formations there. They're kind of what I refer to as spires. They call them, their nickname is the hoodoos, and beautiful orange red rock, and they're all these hoodoo formations, these spire formations. Really, Bryce, of all the parks down there, the state parks, national parks down in that area, Bryce is one of my favorite places to always visit, just because it's got such unique rock formations.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see that. And then after we leave Bryce, we're going to start our adventure towards home. Still lots of fun things to do along the way. But we will get into Grand Junction, Colorado that night then, and we'll stay in Grand Junction that night.
I'm just thinking about the national state parks and things. You've got your contacts over there, right?
Right, yeah.
And I don't know if this is true or not, and maybe you've heard this, but I've heard it's pretty difficult to just show up at a state or national park right now and expect to see things. So, yeah. I mean, another benefit of going with our group is that it's where
this year, especially being last year was a complete shutdown and everybody's on the go. I've been in contact with several national parks because I've got several of them in my upcoming trips this summer, my Wyoming and so on and so forth. And then, but they all say they're super, super busy, Mm-hmm. So, I mean, getting in there with the bus is good. But I mean, at the same time, you're able to, you don't have to worry about your own parking and all that kind of stuff, because there are thousands of people that are going there these days.
Yes.
So,
yes. Sorry to interrupt, but
no, that's fine. That's good. So then we, like I said, day 9, we stay in Grand Junction, Colorado that night. And then the next day, we continue our trek across, which is Saturday, October 10th. We continue our trek across Colorado. And we're going to be going through the Rocky Mountain Basin as we travel through Colorado, southwestern Colorado there. And, it's super gorgeous. And especially right then, this is early October that we're going to be doing this. And every year that I've been through there, and I hope I don't jinx it by saying this, but every year that we've been through there, the Colorado aspens are in full golden color at this time, and they're just absolutely gorgeous. Super, super cool to see them. So hopefully we'll hit that again good this year. But they're really quite the sight to see. Mm-hmm. So then we will continue our trek across Colorado and into western Nebraska that night, and we will be staying in Ogallala, Nebraska that night. Then the next morning, Sunday, which is day 11, we'll continue our journey across Nebraska, and we're going to stop in the North Platte area and visit Bailey Train Yards. This is a really unique place to see, too. We're going to take an elevator up to the top of what they refer to as Golden Spike Tower. It's about a seven story elevator we'll take up. And then once we get up to the top, you're going to see what they refer to as the Grand View. This rail yard, Bailey Train Yards, is the world's largest train yard. It's kind of centrally located in the United States, in central United States, if you think about it. So all the north-south and the east-west trains all, kind of meet here, and that's where they come together. This train yard covers a massive 2,800 acres. So you can imagine how big it is.
Mm-hmm.
And they engineer and what they consider manage approximately 10,000 railroad cars a day that go through there. It's just quite the amazing sight to see. And when we go up to the top of this train yards there, or up to the top of the tower, I should say, there are retired employees that used to work there at the train yards that are up there, ready to answer your questions, ready to tell you what you're seeing out there, across the train yards. And it's just fun to spend a little bit of time up there and see all the action that's going on. So we'll do that. Then we'll leave the North Platte area, and we're going to continue coming across Nebraska. And then when we get over to the Kearney, Nebraska area, we're going to stop at the Great Platte River Road Archway. If you went across Nebraska before and on the interstate there, and remember always going with that archway that you go under on the interstate, that's what this Great Platte River Road archway is that what you see there. So we're going to stop there. That's a real interesting place. Tells a lot about the day of back in the covered wagon days and when they took the trails across there, and you'll learn a lot there. And then we'll leave there, and then we will travel on to Omaha, which is our last night out, and we will stay in Omaha that night. And then the next morning, which is day 12, we will come on home from Omaha and drop you back off in your spots that you got picked up in. So that pretty well covers the entire tour. I did want to briefly talk about pricing for this tour. It is $27 for double occupancy. It's $27.49 per person. Single occupancy is $36.24 per person, and triple or quad is $25.24. The activity level, what I would consider for this trip, would be moderately active. Needless to say, it's a little longer trip. We don't do a great deal of walking. Oh, one other thing I did want to point out that I forgot to mention back in talking about the Fiesta grounds there, the hot air balloon Fiesta grounds, is that like a lot of, if you attend some of these other hot air balloon festivals, a lot of times they're all roped off and you can't get out there amongst the balloons and that. You just kind of see them from afar. This Fiesta grounds is totally different. You get to walk right amongst all the balloons and see them as they're inflating them. And sometimes even, and the guys that are out there that own these balloons are more than willing to answer questions when they've got the chance, of course, to answer your questions. And we've even had folks in the past that one of our gentlemen that went, not last time, but 2 years before that, he was out there asking one of these gentlemen some questions, and the guy said, well, would you like to hold on to this rope and help us, as we raise the balloon? So needless to say, he did that, and that made his day. He was super enthused about that. And he come back and said, I actually got to help, So anyway, but there's a lot of interaction. You're right out there on the grounds. You don't have to be. We've got seats off the grounds for you. There's chairs there and everything. But if you care to walk out amongst them, why, you sure can. And that just makes it even more special. Oh, wow. Sorry, I forgot to mention that.
Cool.
Yeah.
Very, very cool. Well, I think one of the things that sticks with me about this Albuquerque trip is that, and again, I live a lot of these trips through the pictures because that's my job. That's what I pass along. But there are views on the way there. Obviously, there's views during the trip and there's views on the way back. I mean, stunning is probably the word that I need to use when, in Albuquerque and your stops with the mountains and the state park, definitely. So,
we try and do, other than the first day out is usually full travel and the last day home is usually full travel. Mm-hmm. But I try and work very hard when I put these trips together that we are doing something special along the way each day. It may not be a real big thing, but it just breaks up the monotony of and I don't want to say monotony, that's the wrong word too, breaks it up. Instead of 8-10 hours on the road traveling, you've got something to look forward to through the day. You know what I mean? Knowing that you're going to stop here, stop there, see this or see that. So I try very hard to work on that to, you know, make sure and keep people entertained.
Yep. Deb, when's the deadline for signing up for this one?
July 30th.
Okay.
Yep.
And you have, obviously you've got some room for this.
Yes, we still do have room on this. We've had some good signups, but we still do have availability. Again, I wouldn't wait too long, but I strongly encourage, if you're ever thinking about, you know, traveling down this direction down to Southwest, this is a cat's pajama here, guys. This is a good trip. It's really, really a good trip and really a fun trip. So yeah.
Sure. All right. So you heard all about it today, the Albuquerque, New Mexico hot air balloon trip, September 30th through October 11th. Again, double occupancy pricing is $27.49. Any questions, please give Rhonda a call at the office at the number right up there on the screen. Also, remember, we've got 2 trips with just a couple spots that, lucky for anyone who was interested, came open. So be sure to check those out. Again, it's the Indiana Amish country tour and the Mackinac Island tour, both fabulous trips as well. So thank you for joining us today. And Deb, as always, thank you for helping us kind of visualize the trip and what to expect later this fall. I think next week, Travel Talk, we will be talking about the DC trip with Paula and Suzanne. So be sure to come back and see us next Wednesday at 10, and we'll go the other way in the country. So
we'll cover coast to coast.
Yeah. All right. Thank you so much, everybody. Have a great day, and we appreciate you being with us.
Thanks, everybody. Bye. Hope to see you soon.